In this video, I'll talk about cohesion and coherence in your academic writing. Cohesion means ideas flow from one sentence to another. It's about the sequence of sentences. It's about how each sentence ends and the next sentence starts. To write cohesive sentences, you make sure the last few words of sentence 1 set up information that appears in the first few words in sentence 2. Then you do the same for sentence 2 and 3 and so on and so forth. This is how you make your ideas flow in writing. You start a sentence with familiar information and then end the sentence with new information. You do it one sentence at a time. A common problem in writing is that you tend to overload your readers with too much information at once. Benjamin Franklin wrote about the same problem in 1773. He wrote, "It is a common fault in writers to allow their readers too much knowledge. They begin with that which should be the middle, and skipping backwards and forwards. It's impossible for anyone but he who is perfect in the subject before to understand their work, and such an one has no occasion to read it." This is because you've been working on the topic for a long time, but your readers may be new to your topic. Don't overwhelm your readers with information overload. Here is the text in one of my articles. I start with a familiar construct, the feeling of power. The first sentence ends with the brain damage in the ventromedial prefrontal cortex. The next sentence starts with this, which is the brain damage in the medial prefrontal cortex, the information I just presented. So it doesn't come out of nowhere. The sentence then flows to the impact of feeling power, including reduced trust, diminished empathy, and being aggressive, coercive, impulsive, and deceptive. Coherence takes place at two levels. Local coherence is about how all sentences in one paragraph begin. Global coherence means how different sections echo one another throughout the entire paper. To create coherence at the paragraph level, you need to work on three things. First, a paragraph has a sentence that states what the paragraph is about. You tell your readers what the main topic of a paragraph. Second, all sentences in a paragraph share a common theme or idea. Third, the subjects of all sentences in one paragraph need to be related. This does not mean that you use exactly the same words to start every sentence. You can vary a few of the words that refer to a repeated topic. Here is a paragraph I wrote. I highlighted the subjects in each sentence. They are trust, a trustworthy leader, trust, it, and trust. The word trust is used to start a sentence repeatedly with some variations, such as a trustworthy leader and it. This is a paragraph I wrote for an article titled "When Artificial Intelligence Meets Educational Leaders' Data-Informed Decision-Making, a Cautionary Tale." The last two words in the first sentence introduce an important concept, neural networks. The following sentence starts with this approach because neural networks are a technique used in artificial intelligence. This sentence ends with the neural network moniker. Then I start sentence 3 with the neural networks. I start sentence 4 with artificial neurons, and sentence 5 with the neural networks again. Since neural networks is the main topic in this paragraph and it is a new concept to my readers, I use the neural networks to start each sentence so my readers are exposed to the new concept repeatedly. Later in my article, when I refer to the neural network, my readers have already been exposed to the concept, so it doesn't come out of nowhere. Sometimes you see each sentence in paragraph begins with conjunctions that signal logical connections, such as therefore, however, as a result, and by contrast. But after you read the paragraph, you notice that therefore doesn't suggest causation, and by contrast doesn't suggest comparison and contrast. If you present your logical reasoning, those conjunctions are helpful, but don't overuse them. Avoid using those words more than a few times a page. You really don't need that many conjunctions if your sentences are cohesive and your paragraph is coherent. Global coherence is the coherence throughout the entire paper. You create an experience for your readers that everything in your paper flows. The ideas are not disjointed. There are signposts along the way. How to achieve global coherence? First, at the end of your introduction, you present the solution to the problem. This solution is then developed in the following sections throughout the paper. For example, you can say, this study seeks to answer the question, to what extent do construct X and Y are related in context Z? To explore the relationship between X and Y, this study is guided by theory A. This is where you make a transition to your theoretical framework. Here is another example. I first ask a question. What neuroscience insights have been offered to the field of educational leadership? I then provide a solution by connecting the core constructs in educational leadership to their neural mechanisms uncovered in neuroscience. Next, I make a transition to my conceptual framework in the paper. The second thing to achieve global coherence is that you state the connection among your research questions, theoretical framework, methods, results, and discussion. If your research questions are about leaders' desire to lead, your theoretical framework should be theories or constructs about innate desires, such as power motivation, which is people's unconscious desire for power and control. Your methods are about how to measure power motivation and how power motivation is generated or shaped. You also test relationship between your constructs. You then report your results. To build stronger coherence, you structure your results section by research questions. That is, you present the answer to the first research question, followed by the evidence. You then present the answer to the second research question, followed by the evidence. Make it easy for your readers to locate the answers to your research questions. Do not force your readers to hunt for the answers. It is not a pleasant experience. In the discussion section, you echo the theoretical framework, methods, and results by presenting the theoretical implications, methodological implications, and practice implications. The third thing to achieve global coherence is that you start each section by introducing what the section is about. This is like starting a paragraph by introducing the main topic of the paragraph. Do not start a section with headings. Tell your readers what the section is about and then add your headings. In this video, I talk about cohesion and coherence in academic writing. You write for your readers. Reading your paper should not be something like working on a jigsaw puzzle. A cohesive and coherent paper creates an engaging and exciting experience like watching a suspense movie. Do not make your readers say, I know every word in the sentence, but don't understand what they mean after putting together all the words. Hope the suggestions provided in this video help you become a good writer.